Yeah, all right. Just building
Okay, it looks like
anticipation.
we're live.
Okay, cool. All good. Sam, can you make me host, please?
Yep. And
Thank you.
okay.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. Just waiting a moment so I can see it live. Come on. Sorry, guys, I'm waiting for the actual feed.
Ryan has it.
Ryan, you got it? Yep. All right, cool. Ready? Starting the VT.
Oh, hello. You just in time for my daily quarantine happy hour.
Hi, I'm Leslie.
My name's Jason Weber, and I'm a sales rep from Los
and
Angeles,
to meet a top taster
and also
is
the
somebody.
behind bourbon.
To me, a top taster is somebody who really appreciates whiskey, does a lot of tasting, but it's more than that. It's someone who can make other people's whiskey experience special.
2009, I met my wife. Quickly discovered we were both Maker's Mark drinkers at the time. Went out and got a ring made of Maker's Mark barrel stave, and got married.
Hey, over here! Pick me! I'm full of caramel and sweets and fruit. You're gonna love me!
Rather than just tell you why I think I should be the world's top whiskey taster, instead, I thought I'd just show you.
I am the world's okayest whiskey taster. I was pretty content with that title. And then I found out that the Bardstown Bourbon Company was trying to crown the world's best, most fantastic, the greatest whiskey taster on the planet. Well, that's me. It's me.
I like to smell with my mouth open so I don't burn my olfactory nerve with the ethyls.
Very full-bodied, oily, coats the tongue.
Oh my gosh, the full-bodiness of that. The sweetness, but not too sweet. Unreal.
Wow, this is a completely unique bourbon.
I mean, I'm walking into every little hole-in-the-wall liquor store in this country every time I travel. I want to meet the people behind it, everything that has to do with it. I mean, when I tell you that I nerd out more for Steve Nally than I do for Steve Martin, you know I'm telling the truth.
Seth and I are finishing the bottle of Maker's Mark. Thank you, Steve, for sharing very well.
Guys, and that's how it's done.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the regional semifinals for World's Top Whiskey Taster. My name is Sam Montgomery. I am the National Brand Ambassador for Bardstown Bourbon Company and the host for this evening's event. Tonight, we have contestants from the Tennessee area competing to be the regional champion for World's Top Whiskey Taster. That lucky winner will move on to our finals hosted right here at our distillery to compete against the other regional winners to become the world's top whiskey taster. So, what will it take for one of these lucky folks to become the regional champion? Bardstown Bourbon Company sent each contestant a challenge kit, which they all have right in front of them, ready to go. Inside these kits are 4 mystery whiskeys that correspond to 4 challenges that each contestant will go through tonight. We are going to challenge these guys and gals' palates to see if they can determine proof, age, whiskey type, and finishing barrel. Each challenge will get a little bit harder as well as increase in potential points. Scores will be posted live in real time after each challenge. When the 4 challenges are complete, each contestant will have 3 minutes to present a flight of whiskeys that they curate to our guest judges. The flight presentations will really show just how enthusiastic and knowledgeable these contestants are about whiskey, and therefore their presentations will be worth the most points. So As you all at home can tell, we are broadcasting this event live to our Facebook page and unfortunately not our YouTube channel tonight. This is our first live event, so we are having some little technical difficulties, but hopefully the only one that you see tonight. So hopefully you are viewing from our Facebook page. If you are here and viewing to support a contestant that we have tonight that may be a friend or family member, please send in some comments. I've got Facebook up right in front of me on my phone. I can see the comments coming in. I would love to tell these guys that are alone, drinking whiskey for $20,000 on the line, which I'm sure is very nerve-wracking. I would love to pass on your cheers, shout outs, comments. So don't be shy, get in those comments, and thank you for viewing. So with that being said, let's introduce everybody watching at home to the contestants that we have this evening. Contestants, as I introduce your name, just give everybody a wave. We're going to have the gallery view from Zoom on screen here in just a second. And as soon as that goes up, I'll start introducing contestants. And our contestants for the evening, we have Miss Becky Yanayan, Mr. Jason Barrett, Mr. Derek Bruner, Mr. Jason Hall, Tim Beckner, Don Clarkin, and John Fender. So these are your contestants for tonight. Guys, best of luck to you all. Give me a thumbs up if you all have your challenge kits out and ready to go. I know some of you at home can't see, but I've got a separate monitor here that gives me all of the camera views of everybody participating. So I've got the thumbs up from everybody here. So with that, we will begin with challenge 1. Contestants, if you want to grab the bottle labeled number 1, pour yourselves a sample, but don't taste it just yet. I want you guys to give those whiskeys a chance to breathe and air out while I go through what we are going to be doing for challenge number 1. So challenge number 1 is called high or low. With this challenge, each contestant must determine if the mystery whiskey is either higher or lower than 100 proof. Nick, our producer behind the scenes, has got this challenge slide up for you guys to view so you understand the rules, but I will go through it right now as well. So challenge 1 is called high or low. You must determine if the whiskey provided is either higher or lower than 100 proof. You will get 1 point for the correct answer. A bonus point will be awarded if you can guess the exact proof within 2 points. For example, if the proof is 90, answers between 88 and 92 will receive that bonus point. So I want to make sure contestants understand you have 2 answers here. Your first one has to be high or low, and your second one is your best guess at the exact proof. You will have 2 minutes to evaluate and submit your answers. We are going to pull a timer on the screen. Before that timer runs out, you only have 2 minutes. You must submit your answers. The contestants are already clear and understand how they are submitting their answers. So some behind the scenes stuff going on here. Contestants, do you all have your whiskeys ready and understand the rules? Then Nick, our behind the scenes producer, is going to pull up a timer on screen. And on my countdown, you can start smelling and tasting. Don't go just yet. In 3, 2, 1, taste away. Guys, good luck with challenge number 1. Very exciting to kick things off here. While these guys are tasting and evaluating, I want to fill you folks in that are watching from home what the lucky winner today will compete for at the final competition. So whoever is crowned the world's top whiskey taster will win $20,000 in cash, a scholarship to Moonshine University to become an executive bourbon steward, and the opportunity to come to the distillery and blend their own bourbon with our master distiller, Steve Nally. Not only that, but we're going to send that World's Top Whiskey Taster to the best whiskey festivals in the country to represent Bardstown Bourbon Company as an ambassador. Some really incredible prizes on the line here, guys. And I'm not sure about you all, but that $20,000 in cash would be enough to get me practicing my whiskey skills every single day. But I'm pretty sure a lot of us here at Bardstown Bourbon Company are already doing that. Anyway, I'm sure everyone competing today is well aware of that cash prize and dreaming of all the things that they could do with it. I have personally gone through a lot of those other prizes myself. So the executive bourbon stewardship and blending my own bourbon and traveling to whiskey festivals, which hopefully opens up again next year. And it really is just an incredible opportunity and great experience. And I can't wait to see who is lucky enough to join us on the team. So guys, we have contestants, 20 seconds left. Please get your answers in before that timer runs out so that you can get some points on challenge 1. Hopefully we've got some people feeling confident in this challenge. That's 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and whiskey's down. Hopefully your answers are in. Tonight, keeping score, we have our wonderful marketing director, Laurel Altman. She is taking in those answers via Zoom, which we're using right now to broadcast live. While she is tallying points and updating our scoreboard to reveal here shortly, let's meet one of our guest judges we have this evening. And the first guest that I would like to introduce is Ryan Woody. So Ryan, go ahead and unmute yourself, turn your camera on, give everybody a wave. How's it going tonight, Ryan? How you feeling being a part of the first World's Top Whiskey Taster Regional?
I know, it's exciting. I wanted to thank all you guys for jumping on here and submitting your applications. And I'm stoked that Tennessee gets to be the first one of these. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna send a good representative up to the final challenge as well. So good luck, everybody.
Thanks. How confident, Ryan, do you feel that the World's Top Whiskey Taster might be one of the contestants that we have here from your home state, Tennessee?
Can we go over 100%? Because I'm definitely, I feel good. I'm looking at all these faces in front of me. That's definitely going to be one of these guys or gals.
That's great. I'm really hoping that you may be right. I got to know a couple of these guys through their video entries and through getting to know them before the event today, and I have some good feelings. I think we may be in the presence of our World's Top Whiskey Taster already. So fingers crossed for you guys.
Just make this the champion right here.
Yeah, that's it. No need for more regional events. We can end it right here. I love the confidence. So thank you, Ryan. We'll check back in with you later when the contestants give their flight presentations. So before we reveal the scores, I want to reveal to the contestants what whiskey you had in your glass. So the mystery whiskey for challenge 1, high or low, is Woodford Reserve. So this is in fact lower than 100 proof. It's actually 90 proof. So we will accept any answers that said low for the first point and any answers between 88 and 92 for the bonus point. And let's get that live scoreboard up and see how our contestants did after the first round. Okay, it looks like it was a pretty hard first round for most people. We only had 3 people that got points on the board. That's okay, you guys. We have a ton more challenges with lots of more points to dole out, so don't get discouraged. And coming in first place after challenge 1 is Becky Yanayan. Yes, good job, Becky. I love seeing the females represent. So awesome. We have a lot more challenges to do, as I said, a lot more points, and there's going to be even more points the more we get into this. So don't worry if you didn't get any points on this challenge. There are tons more opportunities. With that said, we are going to go right into challenge number 2. So contestants, grab challenge number 2 bottle that you have in your kits, pour yourselves a sample, and keep that glass firmly on the table until I give my countdown so we can let those whiskeys breathe and I can tell you what we're doing for challenge number 2. So challenge number 2 is called young or old. Nick has got that challenge slide up so that the contestants and everybody at home can see what the rules are. Young or old, the contestants have to determine if the whiskey provided is either younger than 4 years old or older than 8 years old. So it 100% is not going to be anything in between 4 and 8 years old, right? I wouldn't be that mean to you guys. I'm trying to make it hopefully a little bit easier on you. So if you believe that the whiskey in your glass is younger than 4 years, your answer will be young. And if you believe it's older than 8 years, your answer will be old. There's also an opportunity for a bonus point in this round. So if you can guess the exact age within a year, so if the bourbon in fact was 15 years old, any answers between 14 and 16 would be eligible for that bonus point. We had Becky that got the bonus point in the first round. Let's see if we can get anybody with the bonus point in this round. We are going to put 2 minutes, a 2-minute timer up on the screen so that the contestants can see it. On my countdown, I will start that timer. Do all my contestants understand the rules and have their whiskeys ready? Give me a thumbs up. I can see you guys on a second screen here. Awesome, I've got thumbs up from everybody. All right, and when Nick pulls the timer on screen, I will give a countdown and we will get started. Here, he's got it pulling up right now. So on my countdown, Nick, start that timer in 3, 2, 1. Go right ahead and taste those whiskeys, smell them, taste them, evaluate them, try to determine if the whiskey is in fact young or old according to those rules that we explained. So while they've got 2 minutes to evaluate those whiskeys, I'm going to pull up my phone here and see if anybody is sending some comments or some words of encouragement. It looks like we got Jackie James, our friend in California, that is watching. Colleen Lippert is sending some encouragement to Dawn Clark in here. She says, yay, Dawn. That's great. Another person for Dawn, Tom Owings, is chiming in on the chat to say, Dawn, you got this. Looks like Dawn has a ton of friends. We also have Gary Vercruz that said, be the comeback guy, Dawn Clarkin. So he's rooting for you, Dawn. He thinks you're going to make a comeback. Tons of people watching.
On YouTube, we have even got some support here. It looks like it's quite a lot here for Becky and also for Tim as well. So well done for you guys on YouTube.
Great. It looks like we got our YouTube feed up. So that's good news. If you guys want to chime into both videos and double down, we've got both streaming available. Good job, Nick and Michael. So I want to let the contestants know that we are coming up close to 20 seconds on the timer here. So a good time to get your answers in. Hopefully we've got some people feeling confident after challenge 2. It is supposed to get a little bit harder per challenge, but hopefully you're still feeling confident enough to get some points. And 5 seconds left, contestants. 3, 2, 1. Whiskey's down. Hopefully you got your answers in. I'm seeing some confident faces on screen, on my screen here. So hopefully everybody's feeling good after challenge 2. While Laurel, our scorekeeper, is taking in all of those answers and updating our scoreboard to reveal here in a few short moments, I'm going to go ahead and give the contestants the bottle reveal for challenge 2. I'm sorry, before we do that, it's live, guys, excuse me. Before we do that, I need to introduce our second guest judge for tonight. So the second judge that I'm going to introduce is Nick Smith. He is our head distiller here at Bardstown Bourbon Company. Nick, why don't you tell everybody kind of what you do for Bardstown Bourbon Company and where you came from before you started?
All right. Hey, nice to meet everybody tonight. I'm Nick Smith. Like they said, I am the distillery manager and head distiller for Bardstown Bourbon Company. I've been there since day one. I was one of the original hires for the facility, coming up on 4 years now. Before Bardstown Bourbon, I was with Jim Beam Brands for almost 5 years. Worked at both the Claremont and Booker Noe facilities. Started at the ground level as a relief, worked up to supervisor there, and then came on at Bardstown Bourbon as supervisor and grew with the company. We've quadrupled in size the first 2 years, so I grew with them. And day to day, I run everything in the distillery. So I create all the mash bills. We've got 27 different customers that we distill for, and we've now ran 50 different mash bills, which is absolutely crazy in this industry. So I manage all that, grain schedules, customers production, mash bill, everything like that. So really fun process. It's awesome getting to do different recipes every single day and work with different grains, different customers, learn a lot with it. And I'll give it back to Sam so she can reveal what the bottle was. She's itching to do it. I could see how excited she is.
Thanks, Nick. I just love hearing you talk. So as Nick said, he tastes a lot of whiskey here, 50 different mash bills. I'd be interested to see how he would do in World's Top Whiskey Taster. It might be a zero competition. I don't know.
I would hope I wouldn't have any of those goose eggs after round one. That's for sure. I'm feeling good about this round. I'm hoping there's no more zeros on the board after this one.
Yeah, I think so. There's plenty of opportunities ahead. So for the bottle reveal for our contestants, the challenge was to determine whether the whiskey was either young or old. Younger than 4 years or older than 8 years was the limits you were given. And the mystery whiskey is, in fact, if you all can see my screen, hopefully, Russell's 10-year. So it is a 10-year bourbon. I see some celebrations on screen from the contestants. So it looks like some people know that they got the answer right. The correct answer would have been old. And if you guessed anything between 9 and 11 years, that would have got you the bonus point. So let's see our scoreboard after challenge 2. Okay, so we do have some more people on the board, and it looks like a lot of people got the bonus point. So great job, guys. And still leading in first place is Becky Yanayan. Great job, Becky. There are a couple people right behind her, Jason Barrett and Tim Beckner with 3 points, and then Derek and John with 2 points. So great job, guys. Good palettes. You guys are nailing it, some of you. And those of you that have still yet to get on the board, we've got time. We've got time. And as I said in the beginning, the presentations are going to be, heavily scored. So even if you don't get any points in the first 4 challenges, there is a chance to come out ahead at the end here. So don't lose hope. With that being said, we are going to move on to challenge number 3. Contestants, you know the drill by now. Grab bottle number 3, pour yourself a sample. Don't taste or smell just yet until I start my countdown. But I'm going to explain challenge 3. Nick is going to pull up, our other Nick, our behind the scenes Nick, is going to pull up the challenge 3 rules. So challenge 3 is called Which Whiskey. With this whiskey, we want you to determine if the whiskey type of the sample is one of the following. We are giving you some multiple choice here, although it's still pretty difficult. But the whiskey in your glass is either a bourbon whiskey, a rye whiskey, a Scotch whiskey, or an Irish whiskey. So you will have 2 minutes once again to determine which whiskey type that you have in your glass. You get 1 point for the correct answer, but the bonus point here is actually going to be worth 5 points. So if you can not only determine what whiskey type you have in your glass, but the label of the whiskey, for example, if it is a Scotch and it is you guess Johnny Walker, and it is indeed Johnny Walker, then you're going to get a total of 6 points for the round. I know that is a really tall order, but I think some people here are definitely capable of it. So we are going to pull the timer up on the screen. Before we get started, I should get a thumbs up from all the contestants to make sure they're ready. They understand? We're good to go? Awesome. So Nick is going to pull up the timer, and on my countdown, you guys can start. You have 2 minutes to get those answers in. So in 3, 2, 1, and go right ahead and taste those whiskeys. Best of luck to you guys in challenge 3. So while they are trying to decide which whiskey type that they have in their glass, which I feel like is pretty tough. I mean, given a multiple choice makes it a little bit easier, but still, you know, bourbon and rye, there are some small differences, and between Scotch and Irish, some small differences as well. So, you know, this is not just taste and bourbon whiskey, right? This is World's Top Whiskey Taster. So we're going to see who comes through in this round. While that is going, I'm going to pull up some more comments from Facebook, see what kind of cheers and shout outs we got going on since the last round. Leslie McBride says, "Let's go, Tim." Leslie is one of our contestants in the West competition. So it seems like she's got some friends competing here as well. That's awesome. Anthony Smith says, "Go, Don, go." Tons of people showing up for Don. Don, you must have a really awesome fan crowd here. Jonathan Kane said, "Woo, go Jackie." Even though we don't have a Jackie here competing, we do have a Jackie competing in California. So thanks, John. You're way ahead on that. Timothy Bentley is also sending his support to Don. Mark Gowis says, "Way to go, Samantha. Look, guys, I've got a fan." That's awesome. And it looks like we've got 20 seconds left on the clock. I almost got carried away reading those comments, guys. I saw one come up for me and I was lost. So it looks like 10 seconds left on the clock. Hopefully you guys are getting those answers in. 5 seconds, and 3, 2, 1, whiskey's down. It looked like a lot of people had their answers in early. So that is hopefully a sign of confidence from a lot of people here. While Laurel is getting those scores updated to reveal here shortly, I would like to introduce you all to our final and third guest judge that we have this evening, Mr. Dan Calloway. Dan is also known as Danny Bardstown to some. He is our Vice President of Hospitality here. He's in charge of making sure everybody coming to visit the restaurant, take a tour, any reason that they'd be walking in the door, that they have a good time. Dan, thanks for joining us tonight as a judge. How are you doing? You got a drink while you're watching the events unfold here?
It's too tense. I can't even get a drink. I'll get one in a minute. I'm on the edge. You guys are doing awesome. I'm just enjoying it. I know it's been a long time in the works. Watching your intro videos, it's awesome to see you come together and put all this together. I'm excited to see who comes out on top, and I'm especially looking forward to these presentations.
Great, awesome. Well, thanks, Dan. We will check back in with you when the contestants are ready to present their flights. So before we give the updated scores, we will reveal the bottle, the mystery whiskey in round 3. And drum roll, please. The mystery whiskey for round 3 is Dewar's Scotch. So a Scotch you can find behind most back bars. Man, I started working in bars where the clientele, this bottle ran through quicker more than most. So the correct answer would have been Scotch to get 1 point. And if you were just that master taster and you pinned Dewar's as the label, you got a total of 6 points for the round. So let's see the scoreboard and see how everybody did after round 3. Okay. It looks like we've got some points on the board. It doesn't look like anybody got the bonus question. That was a tough one for sure. So it's making it a little bit tighter of a race here. We've got 3 people now tied for first place. Becky is still holding that, but now sharing it with 2 others, Jason Barrett and Tim Beckner. So the race is getting even tighter, guys. We've got one more sipping challenge before we move on to the presentations. Hopefully, all the contestants have some water nearby and are still feeling sharp for this last sipping challenge that we have here. So let's dive right into challenge number 4. Contestants, go ahead, grab that challenge 4 bottle, pour yourselves a little sample. Don't taste it just yet. I'm going to go ahead and explain the rules. Nick, behind the scenes, is going to pull up the challenge number 4 slide so that you all can see it. Challenge number 4 is called Which Finish. So contestants, with the whiskey that you've been provided, you must determine which of the following Bardstown Bourbon collaborations you have in your glass. So while there are many that have come and gone, we have narrowed it down to 3 options for you guys. So the whiskey is either the Goodwood Walnut Ale finish, the Copper and Kings Sherry finish, or the Copper and Kings Orange Curacao finish. So even if you haven't been able to taste these yourselves, you can take what you know about the finishing barrel, right? All of these were bourbons that were aged in the finishing barrels as described on screen here, to determine which finished whiskey you have in your glass. So this round is the final sipping round. So it is going to be all or nothing worth 5 points. Once again, we are going to put 2 minutes on screen for you guys to taste, evaluate, and submit your answers. Nick, go ahead and pull that timer up on screen. Let me get a thumbs up from all the contestants that they understand are ready. Okay. And as soon as Nick gets that timer pulled up, I will give my countdown and we can get to the last challenge. All right, guys, in 3, 2, 1, taste some whiskey. And while these guys are doing the last and final challenge before their presentations in front of the guest judges, I want to tell everybody at home a little bit about these collaborations and specifically the latest release of ours, which is that Copper and Kings Orange Curacao finish. So this is something we just released in the past week or 2 weeks, and it is incredible. We took a 10-year Indiana bourbon and we finished that in orange curacao barrels that we got from Copper and Kings. Copper and Kings is a local brandy producer based out of Louisville. They gave us their orange curacao barrels and we put a 10-year bourbon in them to finish for 18 months, an incredibly long time for bourbon to sit in a finishing barrel. While it's sitting in there for 18 months, it is grabbing all of these flavors and characters from the orange curacao, making it an incredibly bright and smooth whiskey to taste. If you guys are fans of an old fashioned, this is the best base whiskey that you could possibly use for a top shelf old fashioned. It is really incredible. If you're wondering how to get your hands on it, you can go to our website, bardstownbourbon.com, click on where to buy, enter in your zip code, and it will produce for you a list of retail accounts that are nearest you to get your hands on some of this product, as well as direct to consumers that ship. So I got to chime in and tell the contestants that we have 15 seconds left on the clock. I see a lot of people have already entered their answers. Go ahead and get those in. We've got 7 seconds left in the final round. 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right, contestants, you guys made it through the whiskey tasting marathon. It's over. We won't put any more whiskey in front of you to drink. That we require. At your own will, you can do what you want. I think we're going to have some very animated presentations here to follow here shortly. So what I'd like to do now, since we've already met our guest judges, and I want to give Laurel a minute or two to update the scoreboard is I would like to call out one of our lead scorers to see if she has anything to comment about how she's feeling after the first 4 challenges. And I'm going to call out Becky, who has kind of kept the lead the entire time. Becky, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, you must be feeling pretty good right now, girl, getting all these answers right and keeping the lead through every challenge. How's it feel right now? Oh, Becky might be muted. Let's see if we can unmute her so we can get her to say a few words. There we go. Becky, how's it feel being in the lead?
Oh, it feels pretty, it's surprising to me. You know, when I ran through a deluge of rain to get to my computer, I was like, oh, I guess this is how the whole evening will unfold. But hey, it's all good. As long as we're having fun in this together. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Good. And what do you think of all the 4 challenges that we've seen so far? What do you think has been the most challenging for you personally?
The one I got wrong.
Which one was that?
It was the one on the scotch, you know, so
Yeah.
I thought, yes. So
what did you, if you don't mind sharing, what did you think it was?
I thought it was an Irish whiskey because I just wasn't picking up a lot of what I thought was scotch aromas on that. But yeah, it's part of the learning process for me. So
well, it didn't slow you down. You're still in the lead.
Well, thank you. I'm having fun.
Good. It's good to see you having fun. So thanks for allowing me to pick on you for a minute.
Yeah, you can do that all day. It's good. But we're in this together. I'm just really grateful that you all made this happen and put all this work and effort into allowing us to do this. It's been fun.
Thank you. That is so good to hear. It has been kind of a wild year for everybody, right? We did expect to have these events live, pivoted pretty quickly to pull them off virtually, and it's good to see that you are enjoying yourself, Becky. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and have you mute yourself while we do the final bottle reveal and the final scoreboard reveal. Thank you, Becky. So before we update the scores after the 4th challenge, I'm going to let you guys know what collaboration you all had in your glass for challenge 4. And that bottle is the Goodwood Walnut Ale. So hopefully I see some celebrations. I see some people kind of sighing like they didn't get it right. So it looks like we might have some mixed results on scores here. So it was all or nothing, 5 points if you got the answer right, nothing if you didn't. Let's see those scores after challenge 4. Okay, and we have a new score lead, guys. The tables have turned, and that is Tim Beckner. So Tim is now in the lead with 9 points. Jason Hall is right behind with 6. And Dawn is coming in 3rd with 5 points. Everybody has points on the board now, so that's good. I'm happy to see that. And there are a lot of potential points here coming up in the presentation. So don't lose hope, guys. And I hope you put it all on for these flight presentations. We are actually going to go in order from score lead to least for the presentations. So before we get started with that, Tim, know that you're on deck and that you are going to go up first. I'm going to explain to everybody watching at home what these contestants are actually going to be presenting. So Nick, our behind the scenes guy, is going to pull up the slide that explains what these presentations are. So we asked each contestant to curate a flight of whiskey that really speaks to them, right? So the guest judges that I've already introduced are going to be judging these presentations on the contestants' presentation skills and their thoughtfulness in putting together this flight. What that means is they're going to be asking questions such as, how enthusiastic does the participant seem about the flight that they built? Do they present in a manner that makes you want to listen and taste? And what are we comparing with these 3 whiskeys? What kind of order are they in? And would you walk away from tasting this flight with knowledge you didn't have before? So we've got As I introduced, Nick Smith, Dan Calloway, and Ryan Woody that are paying close attention, ready to see the presentations that you guys have prepared. And we will not reveal anybody's scores until the final contestant has presented, so that we can present final scores and a regional champion at the same time. So I hope you guys are ready. Tim, you are up first. We're gonna unmute you and spotlight your video for the world to see on Facebook and YouTube. Are you ready? Do you have your bottles nearby?
I do, yes.
Okay, so we're also going to give everybody 3 minutes. So I'm going to have my friend Nick behind the scenes pull up a 3-minute timer. And Tim, as soon as you start speaking, we are going to start that timer, and we'll pull it up when there are 2 minutes left. Once again, when there is 1 minute left, and then again when there are 10 seconds left, so that you can wrap it up. You understand, and you all good, ready to go? Okay, so Tim, take it away, and we'll start that timer.
All righty. So the flight that I'm going to present to you tonight, I like to call Craft Finishing 101. With the whiskey business booming the way it is, a lot of craft distilleries have gone to finishing whiskeys to kind of set themselves apart and provide a lot more expressions with the same distillate. And tonight I've chosen 3 selections from Taconic Distillery in New York. Definitely one of my favorites. And these 3 work really well to show the power of finishing, because they're all the same proof. They're all 90 proof. They all came from the same small batch distillate, and that way you can kind of hone in on their particular properties that come from those finishings. Each one of them was also finished for 6 months. So a lot of the variables are all the same, but that provides an opportunity for you to kind of see what these finishings can provide. Now, the first one I've brought on is the Mizunara cask. The Mizunara cask is a Japanese oak. It's a highly sought after oak. They grow very crooked and nothing like the American white oaks. So, and to get a barrel out of that, you got to wait for a tree to get about 200 years old. So it makes them highly sought after, highly expensive. The cool way that they do the Mizunara Taconic, because the barrels are so expensive, what head distiller Brandon Collins does is he uses what he calls the Titan barrel. It's a steel barrel that he uses a Mizunara barrel heads with, but then puts the staves inside the whiskey. And he has created enough staves to equal the same surface area that a 53-gallon barrel would provide with that. And with that whiskey, you know, the Mizunara cask, normally they kind of say you get more of an oaky kind of smell to it. Some folks will say they kind of taste coconut. I think of it more of a savory kind of sensation. I don't ever get the coconut scenario, but it really feels like that umami, that savory. I love what I got there. So this is like the main course for me. The next one is going to be the dessert. This is the Cabernet cask. This is aged for 6 months in Cabernet casks from local New York wineries. And the Cabernet gives it a really fruity nose on it. The finish is beautiful. You get those dark fruits, the cranberries, the grapes, you know, the cherry that you get. And that's a beautiful, beautiful dessert that we go through. Now, the third course for any proper bourbon drinker is not dessert. The end of the meal is the whiskey drink that you sit down by the fire with, right? So for the
20 seconds.
The last one I've chosen a cognac cask. The cognac cask gives you a strong smell of the cognac. The finish is phenomenal, drinks way higher than a 90 proof. Perfect end to the night.
All right, and that was the full 3 minutes, Tim. You did an exceptional job. Truly, I'm really surprised. I feel like you might have a couple of other contestants a bit nervous now. That was a very thoughtful. I was paying attention. I was hanging on to every word. So I expect some great scores reflected from the judges when we see those at the end. So with that being said, we're going to wait till the very end to get feedback from the judges here, since we have 7 more contestants to go through. So I believe our next contestant is Jason Hall, who is second to 10 in scores as it sits. So we're gonna bring Jason Hall up on screen, and it looks like Jason is unmuted and has his whiskeys ready to go.
Yep.
So Jason, I'm going to have the 3-minute timer pulled up and started whenever you start speaking. So go right ahead whenever you feel comfortable, okay?
Okay. All right, one of the things that I just love about tasting whiskeys is when you come across one that has an undeniable note that just leaps out at you. So that was kind of my thinking behind this flight, which I'm calling Bourbon Trail Mix. So it's kind of a play on the Bourbon Trail and how each one of these bottles are going to showcase a note that you would find in a trail mix. So we're going to start off with the Eagle Rare, kind of warm up the palate, then head over to a Booker's, and then finish up with a Willett Family Estate Bourbon. So starting off our journey at the Buffalo Trace Distillery, Eagle Rare is a 10-year-old 90 proof bourbon. So low rye mash bill. It's formally stated as a single barrel product. It still basically is bottled as one. And I only mention that because each one's going to vary a little bit. And this one happens to be the most red fruit forward Eagle Rare I've ever had, or probably any bourbon I've had. Just like, yeah, tons of red apple, raspberries, some cherries in there, and baking spices and some oak as well. Yep. Sat in a barrel for 10 years. Okay, now that our palate's warmed up, we're going to head over to the Jim Beam Distillery. Booker's is also a low rye mash bill, but it's barrel proof. So quite a leap in proof from the Eagle Rare. But I promise this 126.5 proof bourbon does not drink nearly as hot as that might suggest. This is the second batch from this year, which is the Boston batch, and I chose it because it just has like an insane peanut note, like you just ripped open a can of roasted peanuts. It's just leaping out at you. Some nice barrel char, some dried fruit like apricot, and some cedar actually. So pretty savory bourbon. Okay, we're gonna finish up here in Bardstown at the Willett Distillery. This Willett Family Estate Bourbon is a 6-year-old bourbon. It is 127.6 proof. The store that selected this barrel chose that's the high rye. So you are going to get quite a bit of that rye spice, a lot of cinnamon, and that classic kind of Willett herbal quality there. But the note that I want you to focus on that leaps out is chocolate covered raisins, like raisinets. Yeah, chocolate covered raisins. There's some cola in there, as well as some oak, but just overall a very delicious but robust bourbon. Okay, well, that's going to do it for me. I really hope you enjoyed our journey down our very own little bourbon trail here, and we're able to follow along and see how each one of those prominent notes together can give you that trail mix profile. All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. That was great. I was actually getting like hungry and thirsty as you were describing these bourbons. So gosh, I mean, you could be doing voiceovers for whiskey tastings. Really excited to see what the judges think of your presentation and how their scores reflect. So thank you for that. You did great. Best of luck in the final scores here. If my buddy Nick from behind the scenes can either pull up the scoreboard to tell me who's next or just come over the speaker and tell me who's next. My picture perfect memory is failing me of who's next in line for these presentations.
It would be Don Clarkin.
Okay, and it is Don Clarkin. So let's get Don Clarkin's video spotlighted here. Don's got his whiskeys out and ready, I see, and he's unmuted. So Don, we are going to pull up a 3-minute timer. Once again, in case you missed it, we're gonna pull that timer up on your screen when there are 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and 10 seconds left. So whenever you are ready, Nick will start the timer as soon as you start presenting. Best of luck.
All right, hey everyone. I chose these 3 Kentucky bourbons for my flight because I believe that they're all relatively affordable, relatively cheap, and I think they're entry level for people who want to get into it. Maybe you want to share it with a friend. So the first one here is Early Times Bottled in Bond. This one here is a particularly good deal because you get this for about $25, $30, and it comes in a liter bottle. So you're getting like a third more than these other guys. And I think that comes out to like $18 or $19 for a 750, which is a really good deal. And it's got some really great mellow corn notes. It's 79% corn on the mash bill, and it's really sweet. It's really easy. and it's something great for new people who haven't been introduced to bourbon yet. So my second one here is this Four Roses single barrel. This is their standard OBSD mash bill. So it's 35% rye. It's real big, it's real spicy, it's sassy, and it's got a really nice aromatic floral note coming on the nose. It's something that I think people who've already tried some bourbons and want to try something really new, something exciting, wanting to take it to the next level, are going to get some really cool, bold flavors out of this. And I think you can get a bottle of this for about $35 or $40. And for my third bottle, I chose this Maker's Mark Cask Strength Edition. I picked this one because it used to be about $55. It is now only $40 starting 2020. So they really decreased the price. I think that's a really good range for a cask strength whiskey. This one's got a lot of bite to it, and it's got some really delicious fresh cut grass notes, some maple, peanut butter, the usual Maker's Mark stuff. But it's something for more experienced people. I think it's a good place if you want to spice things up and take things to the next level. But I had a lot of fun with all three. I'd highly recommend everybody try these. You can find them pretty much anywhere, and they're all affordable. So when you get home, give these a chance. I think you'll love it, and I think you'll love bourbon. Thank you, guys.
And thank you, Don. You were done with a minute left, and I feel like I was given all the information that I needed to be excited to taste this flight. I love the approach you took in making this about approachability and accessibility, and speaking to the kind of introductory bourbon drinker instead of the guest judges. I have to tell you, I've got my phone up with me right now, and I'm looking at the comments coming in on Facebook. You are a popular guy, Don. You have got so many fans out there. So that is great. You're doing great. I love the presentation. I'm excited to see how you fare in the scores at the end of this all. So best of luck to you, and great job on your presentation.
Thank you. And I want to give a shout out to the fans. Thank you guys for tuning in. A lot of friends and family are stopping by and saying hi. So thank you guys. And I hope you all really try some Bardstown bourbon on your way out before you lose the memory of all this.
Thank you, Don. That's awesome. So we are going to move on to the next contestant, Nick behind the scenes, Nick Lewis, everybody. Could you please tell me who we have on deck?
We have Becky next on deck.
All right, Becky. And then could we let the next contestant know that is following her to get ready? Who is that?
So the current order is going to be Becky, Jason, Derek, and then John Fender.
Okay. All right. Well, Becky, we're going to spotlight your video.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So I'm going to have Nick pull the timer up and start it just as soon as you start speaking. It looks like he's ready to go. So Becky, when you are comfortable and ready, show us what you got.
All right. Are we going?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So I have chosen this flight. It's all the same distillery, the same bourbon company, they are all cask finished, same price point, same proof, same age. What I'm hoping to showcase here are the different flavor characteristics that barrel lends to this bourbon. And I've called the name of the flight, since I am here in Music City, I'm calling this that old Howard quote from the 1950s, it's 3 chords and the truth. All right, so this is actually laid up so that you can enjoy the first one in those last days of summer, and then the very last one will carry you into those cold days of winter by the fire. The first one is going to be a Bellmead Bourbon Cognac XO cask finish. I call it a light summer sipper. And that has nice spicy notes. That Cognac XO, of course, French Limousine oak from 10 years. So that has kind of a greeny, grapey characteristic that lends a slight herbaceous note and a good spicy finish to that. That has a long, kind of a short finish. The second one is going to be a Madeira cask finish. I would have this with a cordial cherry that has notes of toffee and caramel, and it has a nice mocha finish on it. And then the last one that we're finishing up with here, again, by this time, you'll be by your winter fires. So that is a Oloroso Sherry Cask Finish Bourbon on that one. It has notes of caramelized sugar. And I love the raisiny fruit cake notes. Remember, you're close to Christmas time when you're having this one. So you'll want something that tastes sort of like fruit cake. And that also has a sort of a sweet vermouth flavor and a good long finish to it. Good for those nice times of contemplation by the fire in the winter time. So I just know you're going to be super excited about this flight I've chosen for you. So cheers.
All right. Thank you, Becky. You were just the most delightful person to listen to. And I'm not alone in thinking that. Somebody came in on the chat and said, Becky, you have the best laugh. And you really do. But not only do you have the best laugh, but you gave a great presentation of whiskeys. I love how you recommended kind of when and what mood you should be in when you drink each. That is such an important thing for me when I'm sipping whiskey. It's all about mood and time of year and ambiance. And I love the picture that you painted for everybody. So great job. And thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to move to our next contestant, which is Jason, the other Jason, Jason Barrett, not the other Jason. That sounds secondary. Jason, super excited to see what flight you have curated for the judges. Do you have your bottles ready and are ready to go?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Nick is going to pull up a timer and that he is going to start just as soon as you start presenting. So take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you. So my flight is called the Wheaties flight. I'm a huge wheat guy. When everybody wants something sweet, I tell them to go wheat. So for my flight, my Wheaties flight, I broke it down into 3 categories. We've got approachable, allocated, and then we've got out of left field. For my approachable, my go-to price performer is the Bernheim original from our friends at Heaven Hill. 90 proof, 51% wheat, sweet vanilla oak. This is my number one when I want something good and sweet, and it's my approachable pick of the flight. Allocated, at least for us here in town, is my 1792 sweet wheat. Love sweet wheat, it's just really hard to find. But we picked this up for $60. I saw it today for $200. But it's a wheated bourbon, so it's a little bit different than our friend Bernheim. The wheated bourbon is 51% corn, but you're still getting that wheat in there. It's a 9-year, 91.2 proof. If you can find it, it's always a solid pick. And then for my out of left field, I went with Branch Point Oregon Wheat Whiskey. It's $45 and it's from Branch Point out of Oregon. This is aged 2 years and they use 51% wheat, and then they have crystal malt and distiller's malt. There's no corn and no rye in this. So this is why this classifies as my out of left field. Now, out of left field, it's not a bad descriptor. You know, it's something different. It's a little left of center. But I really chose this. I'm huge fans of what they do. It's tasting profile. It's sweet, but it's also very malty. But also it's great to have on the shelf. It's something new. Just shows you, you know, being in Tennessee, we get accommodated to traditional whiskeys, but it's always cool to see what the craft guys are doing, the smaller distilleries, you know, because those guys are really putting out great stuff for the future whiskey. So very excited about my out of left field, my allocated, and my affordable. So that's my Wheaties flight.
All right, thank you, Jason. I'm just really surprised about the originality that we're seeing in every single one of these presentations. The concept, the thoughtfulness, everybody has their own spin on these presentations, and it's delightful. I'm so excited that we get to see a bunch of whiskey nerds talk about whiskey in one evening. So Jason, the approachable or the easy to find, the allocated, out of left field, incredible thought went into that. Good job. I can't wait to see how you do when we see the final scores, and best of luck to you. So we're going to move right along. We've got 2 more contestants to hear from before we get the final scores and crown a regional champion. So up next, I believe we have Derek Bruner. We are going to spotlight your video. Hopefully you have your bottles ready. He's given me a nod. He's good to go. So Derek, when you are ready, I've got Nick is pulling up a 3-minute timer to start whenever you start presenting. So take it away whenever you are ready.
All right. Well, first off, thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun, kind of choosing what you know and what you don't know. But being from Tennessee, kind of goes to figure you need to do a Jack. So tonight I wanted to do one I call Jack Isn't Whack, because I think a lot of people tend to drink the Jack and Coke and tend to downplay Jack. They think the Jack is just the cheap bourbon or the cheap whiskey, but it's not. And that's why I'm starting off here with the Jack Daniel's single barrel. So this was just the coming in at 94 proof. You can find it on your shelf everywhere you are. Second is my favorite. This is the Heritage Barrel. The fun thing about this is a heavily toasted char, and this went in the barrel and was barreled and bottled at 100 proof. This is only, I think they only make 2 versions of this. This is the second one. I don't think it's being made anymore. So get this one while you can. I love this one. It came out around, I believe it came out later last year. Got it at Christmas time. As you can see, I'm savoring it. And third, you got to go with the Jack Barrel Proof. 132.1. This thing packs a punch. I think if you blinded folks on this, they would not know this is a Jack. This would pass for, I'm not sure what people would pick for this, but we've tried it amongst my friends. Nobody guessed this was a Jack. But this is a pretty incredible whiskey. And once again, just try all these to prove that Jack isn't whack.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. I think that is really bold of you to go for the Jack Daniel's concept and lineup there. And that's certainly not going to go unnoticed to be so bold like that. I can say as a bourbon snob and a bourbon lover that I've had the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof and was indeed blinded on it before anybody told me what it was. And I was surprised, just like you said, I am not making this up. I had no idea it was anywhere near 132 proof and thought that it was delicious. Although I'd be remiss not to say it doesn't hold a candle to Bardstown Bourbon Company product, but I was delighted nonetheless. So great job with your presentation and good luck with the final scores. So moving right along to our final contestant to present, and that is our friend John Fender. John, you've got 10 potential points here. I know you're the last one to present, but you can make a turnaround and really win the hearts of these 3 guest judges. So I'm rooting for you. Whenever you are ready, Nick is going to pull up a 3-minute timer. He'll let you know when you have 2 minutes left, when you have 1 minute left, and then when you have 10 seconds left. So as soon as you start presenting, we'll start that timer. Good luck.
All right, I was going to start off by saying that if Don had started playing that harp, we were all going to be in trouble. So I'm glad he didn't do that. I'm just going to say, when it comes to whiskey, there are 2 things among a lot of other things, but there are 2 things that I enjoy. One is that it's a Tennessee product, and 2, that it's under $50. So that being said, I've stayed within a single distillery, and I've created a flight of whiskeys that I like to call Let's Chat About It. All 3 of my pours come from our good friends at Chattanooga Whiskey. And what I like about this flight is that not only does it hit the 2 things that I mentioned above, it's that Chattanooga Whiskey has a unique product in that they're the only Tennessee high malt whiskey. So for the 3 pours, I started with the complete silver, which is just untouched mash. I think they even say on the bottle that it's aged less than an hour. So what I like about this is it gives you a complete taste of what the actual recipe tastes like before it even has time to sit in a barrel. From there, I went on to, and this is at 100 proof. So you're starting right off with 100 proof there, and then going straight to what is their brand new product, their rye, which is at a 99 proof. but it is completely different than the rest of their line. I should mention, by the way, all three of these are 4 grains. Everything they do is a 4 grain. But this rye is completely separate from everything else they do, and if you're a rye lover, this is something to dive into because it's completely different than any other rye you've ever tasted. Trust me. Third, I go off to my personal favorite, their Chattanooga 111, which is at 111 proof. And it's incredibly well-rounded, complex, and extremely long finish bourbon whiskey, Tennessee whiskey that just, I mean, last year it was my bourbon of the year, whiskey of the year. It just blew my mind. So this is my flight all from Chattanooga whiskey called Let's Chat About It.
I love it. Thanks, John, for the final presentation. I actually, funny enough, I was in the, I don't know what main airport it is in Tennessee. I want to say it's Nashville, but I don't actually know. I was in the Tennessee airport and I was waiting for a layover and had, a bite to eat and was looking at the whiskey list and I saw a Chattanooga single malt. I particularly like single malts, especially American single malts, right? So I was like, I got to try this, right? And got a pour and was just delighted at how great it drank and how kind of smooth and still with tons of character that it had. So I think it's awesome that you decided to highlight somebody locally and take pride in where you're coming from, and whiskey from all parts of the country can be great. So thank you for your presentation. I think you did a great job. I'm excited to see how you did. And folks, that was our last contestant. So we're about to reveal final scores. The judges were sending in their scores per contestant as we were moving along, and Laurel is going to update those scores in a few short moments for us to reveal final scores and crown a regional champion to come to Bardstown Bourbon Company to compete for those amazing prizes that we mentioned before. I know all of the contestants are hanging on the edge of their seat to find out if they're the regional champion or not. But before we get there, I would like to check in with each of our guest judges and just see what they thought about the competition in general, if there was anybody that really stuck out to them in the presentations or anything that they'd like to comment about the event tonight. So I'm going to start with Ryan Woody, the state manager from Tennessee. Ryan, would you like to comment on anybody's presentation in particular, or how you thought the competition went tonight?
Yeah, guys, I wanted to say cheers. I think you all did a fantastic job. I don't know if you saw me clapping for everybody, but every single presentation I thought was very unique and very thoughtful. You guys all did a really great job. I know looking at my scorecard that it's very close between all of you guys. And I encourage every one of you guys, if we do this again next year, to jump back on and do this again. But more than anything, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us, and you guys all killed it. So cheers again. Good luck.
Thanks, Ryan. All right, I'm going to move it to Dan Calloway next, our VP of Hospitality. Dan, what did you think about everybody's presentations tonight?
I liked it. I thought everyone had something unique that was special, that they did well, and what I was really looking for was a thoughtful paired flight, like a theme running through that made a lot of sense that I would like to sit down and taste with that person. So thoughtfulness on the front end, then just that smooth delivery, really getting into the flavor profiles. I think some people focused on maybe the more of the selling by price and less of the flavor. I personally was looking for a thoughtful flavor profile lineup, but I just thought everyone did awesome. So it was great to see.
Thanks, Dan. And then I'll leave it on Nick Smith for a final guest judge's comments. Nick, what did you think about everybody's presentation?
I thought everybody did great. I was even taking notes. I was ready. I'm a tough judge. I will let them know that I'm very tough on giving some high scores. So I thought everybody was very thoughtful, and I was kind of like Dan. I was looking for someone I would want to sit down with and go through that flight. And I thought a lot of them nailed it. Some of them stayed with the same distillery, but gave different expressions. The seasonals on that Becky went through on the different time of year, the all weeks, that each one was a different thought, great ideas, very unique how they went about it. And I would like to sit down and drink every one of the flights. So maybe next time I'm in Tennessee, I might have to hit some of them up.
Yes, and hopefully the next time we host this competition, we can have it live, and you guys can actually give these judges a taste of the flights that you curate next year. So I've just been notified that the scores are ready, and that we have a non-tie, a clear #1 winner, although close. So before we reveal those scores, I just want to say thank you to a few people. Because this has been quite the event, and the first World's Top Whiskey Taster event that we have produced. We're producing 10 total. So for anybody watching at home, Tennessee was just the first, and I'm really happy to have concluded it without anybody losing their internet, even though there's apparently a giant storm going on. So cheers to that, right? Thanks for everybody that tuned in to support the contestants and to keep up with Bardstown Bourbon Company. It is, just a shame that we couldn't have everybody out here, but we really appreciate you tuning in to keep up with what's going on with the competition. So the contestants, I would like to thank for entering, submitting your videos and sticking with us through some hoops. We planned on having these events live, and we had to pivot pretty quickly to pull them off virtually, which actually, asked a lot of you contestants to kind of chip in and do your part as well to pull this off. And you all did phenomenal tonight. You did great in the challenges. You did great in the presentations. And I'm so excited for all of you to be a part of not only the first World's Top Whiskey Taster competition, but the first regional event that we've had. So great job to you guys. I would also like to thank our guest judges, Nick and Dan and Ryan. Have busy days. They have jobs outside of judging World's Top Whiskey Taster. So they were really excited to watch your guys' presentations. They were not disappointed. Everybody was listening intently because you guys did such a good job delivering. So thank you to the judges for participating tonight. It really means a lot to all of us. And then behind the scenes, we've got Laurel Altman, that was our scorekeeper. She is actually our marketing director and has probably, I don't want to say done the most. We've all done a lot to pull these events off, but she was kind of the point person in making sure that this got executed well. So there's Laurel on screen for you. Thank you, Laurel. We also have Michael Powell, our creative director, who's kind of co-producing this with our other buddy I'll introduce after this. He created all of those assets that you guys saw go up on screen, has been putting a ton of time into making this an entertaining and enjoyable experience for the contestants and for you all watching at home. So thank you, Michael, for all the time that you've given to these events. And then last but not least, and probably our last minute hero, is Nick Lewis. So he is actually our state manager for the DC, Maryland area. And he is our undercover tech wizard, kind of like finding that friend or that cousin or family member that you figure out knows how to change the oil in a car. And all of a sudden you're never paying for anybody to change the oil in your car again. He has been producing this entire event in honestly less than 24 hours notice. So thank you, Nick. You did an incredible job. I cannot thank you enough for the help that you've put in to produce this event.
And
so,
I would like to say on behalf of everyone here, I think we can all raise a glass and say cheers to Sam for doing an amazing job at being host.
Thank you. Thank you. I will say it is quite weird to be nervous in front of camera, but totally fine in front of hundreds of people. So 2020 is the year to get out of your comfort zone, right? Thanks, Nick. But without further ado, our scores are ready. We're going to pull them up on screen in a second here, but I just want to say good job to everybody. You all made this an incredibly hard competition to judge. And you honestly, you all deserve to be World's Top Whiskey Taster. No joke, seriously surprised with the amount of people that did so well. So with that being said, Nick, let's see the final scoreboard and see who our regional champion is. Drum roll. And it's Jason Hall. Congratulations, Jason. You did so great through the challenges. You clearly impressed the guest judges with your presentation. I am so excited to have you come to Bardstown Bourbon Company and compete to be the world's top whiskey taster. Let's spotlight his video, Nick, and get him up on screen for everybody to see, if you can, please. Jason, I want to congratulate you. Great job tonight. I know everybody here gave you some tough competition. How does it feel to be the regional champion?
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. This is
awesome.
great.
Well, we're really excited to have you come out to Bardstown Bourbon Company. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see how the year turns out. But that is the plan so far. Tell me, are you going to practice your whiskey skills from here until that point out? And what does that look like?
Definitely. Okay. Well, the first thing that I'll point out that I was worried about this whole time was if I should have done a warm up whiskey or not, and I didn't. And that's how I totally botched the first one. It's so important. So I'll be making sure I do that. But yeah, I'm going to keep going through it. Have my wife continually giving me blind tastings. That's just what I've been doing for the past few months. So just in preparation, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to having you out here. Thank you so much. Other contestants, I'm so happy that you joined. This was, I mean, if this is the precedent for the rest of the other regional competitions, we've got our work cut out for us with World's Top Whiskey Taster. But it's so great to see so many enthusiastic and passionate and knowledgeable people about whiskey, bourbon, all whiskeys show up and attend this event. So I really appreciate you guys, and I'm impressed with the work that you showed in this event tonight. So for everybody viewing from home, we are going to have our Chicago regional event tomorrow night, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We'll start here on Facebook and YouTube. That's 6 p.m. Central. So please tune in to see who Jason is going to be competing against at the finals. And with that, I just want to say goodbye. I drank all of my drinks, so I can't cheers anybody now, but cheers to everybody that participated and to everybody that viewed. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.